Hey there, my name is Aveline Schienke, the founder and creator of Tutti Talks, the podcast where music and conversation come together. Guys, I am so excited. This podcast has finally been released. Let's go. And I'm so excited to finally start this process and to have everything out for you guys to listen to. And I'm just really looking forward to hearing what you guys think and hope that you learn something from it. So really excited that this has finally got going. And this episode is just kind of a precursor to everything. I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself, my musical journey, and why I decided to start the podcast and what that process was like, how I went through with it, just all of the nitty-gritty and the background behind it. So I just wanted to kind of come on here and talk about that. So let's just get right into it here. And first off, I just want to introduce myself. Again, I'm Aveline Schienke. I'm a violinist, and I currently study at Grand Valley State University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've been playing violin since I was about 8 years old, and I've really grown a passion for it throughout the entire course of my musician life, and it's just been something that has really grown into a love of mine, and that's why I'm here. So, but to kind of keep going backwards, I grew up on the east side of Michigan. I grew up being in symphony orchestra, chamber, pit, community orchestras, youth orchestras, all of those things. And I did MSBOA and All-State. So I've had quite a bit of experience in regards to ensembles and things like that all the way through middle school, high school, and now college. And so as I was going through high school and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, that's a big question, right? And I knew that music was a big part of my life by that point. I mean, I was in so many ensembles and I was doing so much with music at the time, but I didn't know where it fit in with after high school. What do you do after you graduate? You know, you have to make money now and you have to support your own life and, you know, you don't have your parents forever. And so I struggled with that a lot because I know musicians don't make a ton of money, especially right out of the gate. And it's a hard life. You know, you have to keep up with practice and you have to, like you physically have to be able to keep up with the demand of music and everything like that. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I decided to go to a local university near my hometown. And that university did not have a music program. So I decided to study accounting. I was actually pretty okay with accounting, and it was a good time. I did that for about a year and a half, but I was still kind of missing a link to music. And at that point, to fill that gap in a way, I had joined a local community orchestra and was doing that every week. But it wasn't filling the void. It just wasn't enough for me. I wanted more. The rep wasn't as difficult as I needed it to be. And I just wasn't feeling it. It just wasn't there. It was a good experience, but I just needed a little bit more. So I started looking at other colleges and I stumbled upon Grand Valley State University. And Grand Valley has a great business program, has a great music program. We have great professors here, great directors. And I toured and I said, I really like this campus. I really like all of everything here. So I came to Grand Valley in winter of 2023. It's kind of a terrible time to transfer in a college career. But yeah, so I transferred and I went in as a accounting major with a music minor. And with that, I was in the orchestra, I was in the violin studio, I was involved, but majority of my time was spent in the business school. And I loved being in the business school. I think having a background just besides music is important because at the end of the day, music isn't always reliable. And I think it's important for students and young people going into the career, the workforce. I think it's important for you to have dual things, which is why I decided to do music with business. And I went through the first semester of that. That first semester was really hard for me. I was taking 18 credits, and I didn't have the best roommate in the world. And it was a real struggle for me. I didn't have any friends here. I had no time for anything. And it was the roughest semester of my life, I think. One of the rougher semesters of my life. And I was sitting there and I was just questioning music. Like, is this really what I want to do? And something inside of me just said, keep going. Just keep going. This is only the first semester. You have to keep trying. So I kept going through with it, and the fall 23 came. And I met so many great people here at the business school that year. I think that year, if not the following year, was my peak experience at Grand Valley. It was just such a good time. I was in the symphony, and after the winter semester had ended, I had decided I wanted to dual major. I wanted to be a double major in accounting and music performance. So I went ahead and auditioned for that and with my jury, and got through with that. So I then became a double major fall 2023. And that was rough. You know, it's hard having two completely different majors that don't relate to each other. I mean, you have accounting and music, and it's like you could not have picked more opposite things to pursue. And it was very hard to balance, because how Grand Valley is set up is there's main campus, which is in Allendale, Michigan. And then there's the downtown campus, which is the business campus. So I was going back and forth between both campuses like 4 times a day that entire year. And I was taking 21 credits, and it was a wild time. It was a wild time. I do not recommend. But I got through it, and it was a great year. I learned so much, and I met so many great people here at the music school and at the business school. Great people everywhere. And as I kept making these friendships and kept making these network connections, my love for music just progressed, and my network progressed, and everything involving music just accelerated for me. My rep, how I was performing as a musician, I feel like it just grew. So I continued pursuing accounting and music, and I realized this is a really hard path. This is really hard on me, and as a student, and I don't know how much more of this I can take. So recently I switched my accounting down to a minor, and I've kept the music performance major. So I did a complete 360 from where I was originally, but I'm happy. You know, I'm happy where I'm at, and I think things are going pretty good for me right now. So I'm going into my last year here at Grand Valley State. I'm going to be a senior this year. Also, since I've been a student here at Grand Valley State, I've been involved with the American String Teachers Association, also known as ASTA. Great program. Every string musician should be involved with. I've also been involved with the Suzuki Association of the Americas. Another great program if you're wanting to be a private teacher or music performance major or anything like that, and you want to teach privately or teach at all. In that case, you should sign up for SAA. It's a really great program. It's all Suzuki, and it teaches you how to teach the Suzuki books. And that's not just for strings either. That can be for band, keyboard, or anything like that. Those organizations have been great in my development and in my networking in the local Grand Rapids area and across Michigan. Every year there's a Michigan Music Conference, and it's always based here in Grand Rapids. So it's so convenient for us music students here at Grand Valley. And we go every year, and it's basically a conference for all string education. And you go there and you listen to all these lectures, and there's a bunch of booths and tables and people you can talk to, and just a ton of great people, tons of great networking opportunities. And you get to learn more about teaching and the style of teaching and the strategies for teaching. And it's really just a great conference to go to for anybody looking to go into the music field for strings. Outside of school, I've been involved with, this past summer, actually, I went to the Dakota Chamber Music Festival down in North Carolina, And I also went to the Vivace International Music Festival, also down in North Carolina. And those were really, really great experiences. Vivace was more of a solo type festival, whereas Dakota was more chamber music, and provided really great insight for me as a string performer to just see how the standards that people hold across the country and what music performance majors should be, the level that they should be at. And it was just really great to see and really get advice from all of the great people there, and both Dakota and Vivace. I mean, these are really well-known musicians in their fields. And I would encourage people to not just go to solo festivals, but also go to chamber, also go to orchestra like Aspen or anything like that. It's a great time and you learn a lot. You will learn a lot. The money is worth it. And if you don't have money to go to one, there are plenty of funding ways. So really just check those out. And I really encourage anybody to go to those, because those are really, really not only beneficial for you, but look great on a resume and just in general. It's a really good thing to go do as a performance major. But anyways, that's just a little bit of background about me and what I've done in the past and what I'm doing now. If you want to learn more about my history and my background, you can visit AvelineSchienke.com, or you can visit my Instagram page at AS Violin Music. I post on there quite frequently, and I like to give little updates about what I'm doing and what's going on in my life. So feel free to stay posted there if you're interested in that at all. But now I want to jump into the podcast itself. You're probably thinking, Aveline, why in the world did you decide to go and start a podcast out of the blue? Guys, I've never been a podcaster. Like, going into this, I knew nothing about podcasting. I give all that to YouTube University, because I knew nothing. I don't know what these chords are. I don't know what that thing is, how to hook it up to this. Like, no idea. And the whole reason I decided to do a podcast in the first place was I wanted to learn more about my professors. Genuinely was the original concept. It's like, I have such a close relationship with these professors, but I feel like I know nothing about them. I know nothing about their past, where they came from, how they got here, and I want to learn more, because these are really cool people, and I know nothing about them. So I really just wanted to get on that deeper level with them and understand how they got here and why, and what was that process like. So I said to myself, Aveline, why don't you just start a podcast? The only problem was I know nothing about podcasting and I knew nothing on how to get started or even do anything like that. So I hit the ground running and I just started Googling things, and I started looking up videos on how to do this. How does that hook up with that? How do you record? Just everything that I needed to know. What equipment to buy? Like, a microphone is a microphone. Like, what specific microphone am I supposed to buy? You know, I had no clue. So I had to do a lot of research, a lot of behind the scenes looking, and eventually I came up with this setup. It's forever evolving. So, but anyhow, going back to the original reason why I wanted to start the podcast. Yes, it was because I wanted to learn more about my professors, but I also wanted to create a space where students and professionals could come together and just talk music. There's not one platform out there that I know of, at least, that does that, where you're bringing in professionals and you're having actual students talk with these professionals. And I really wanted to just provide that space for people, because I know I have a ton of questions about what's it like getting in an orchestra? Like, what's the audition process like? How do I need to prepare? What is, even for high schoolers, like, what are colleges expecting of me when I do the audition process? You know? So I wanted to provide an outlet for students to go to, and a resource that they could go to where you could listen in on these things and get your questions answered. And the general concept of each episode is not for it to sound like an interview. It's meant to sound more like a casual conversation between students and professionals, people in the music industry. We're just musicians, you know? We're all under the same umbrella. just at different levels. And I know there's so much to learn from these really esteemed players and really esteemed musicians in the industry. And I wanted to give a platform for them and for us to ask those questions. So that was kind of the original thought. And this not only is providing an opportunity for me to network with these really esteemed professionals, but it's also an opportunity for other students to do so as well. You'll notice that on every podcast, there will be more students than just me. I never wanted it to just be me. I always wanted it to at least be someone else with me, if not 2 other people with me. And we're going to dive more into that in a second about what types of episodes there are and what the combinations look like. But I really wanted to get other students involved and in the conversation to add a range and a variety to the conversation. You know, I didn't just want cello students to be on an interview with me with the cello professor. You know, I want it to be a variety of people of different instruments, so that, I don't know, if a horn player wants to interview the cellists, they might have different questions than what a cello student would have for the cello professor. You know, I wanted to be able to bridge that gap and give that space so that people of different instruments can ask those questions. And not even people of different instruments, but different grade levels as well. I mean, I'll be having anywhere from people of doctoral status to high schoolers, undergraduates, masters. We're all students, and we all have the same questions. So it really doesn't matter what level you're at as a student. This podcast is for you. It's for anybody interested in listening and learning more about the music industry itself and really getting the behind the scenes look at what goes into being a great musician, what goes into being a successful musician. And I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to present that to all of you. And I really just wanted to be able to have that platform available and that resource available for not only students, but just people interested in listening and learning more about these things. So that was kind of the generic idea behind why I wanted to start the podcast. Now that we've talked about all of those things, I want to transition into what the different episodes look like on Tutti Talks. There's usually only going to be 2 types of main episodes: guest episodes and Pack Talk Unplugged episodes. I will say, as a precursor, the amount of people that are on these episodes depend on whether the episode is being recorded in person or online. Online, I have more flexibility to record a larger sum of people and have more guests on, as opposed to in person. In person is maxed out at 4 people on a show. So there are some limits as to how many people I can have on. But generally, on a guest episode, if it's in person, it's going to be 3 students, including me, and a guest. I will be having some that are 2 and 2, but it really just depends on who's available and what the scheduling looks like for that. So the other type of episode that we'll be having, as I had mentioned before, are Pack Talk Unplugged episodes. Now, what in the world does Pack Talk even mean? PAC stands for Performing Arts Center, and then Talk. And this concept was based on the Grand Valley music community, actually. And we have a lobby here at GVSU. And in the music building, in the lobby, there's a ton of windows and artwork and a bunch of seats and tables that students can just sit down and do their homework and just chill and play games or just hang out with each other, you know? And it's that concept of constant community and constant congregating of the students in the pack, in the lobby, all the time. I wanted to recreate that concept in the form of the podcast. So at the end of every season, there will be a Pack Talk Unplugged. And this will feature 4 students, and including myself, and we'll be talking about our lives as students, things in the music industry, questions we have for each other. It's just us learning about each other, from each other in a fun way. So I just wanted to create that space and have that available for us to just end the season off with something fun, Not that the other episodes aren't fun, but just something silly at the end, We talk about some random questions and we really get some good laughs going. So those are definitely more of the entertainment type episodes, if you want to call them that. But yeah, those will wrap up every month or every season. So that's kind of the plan behind what both episodes entail. Occasionally we might have student organizations coming on or things like that where they don't really fall into pack talks, but they also don't fall really into the professional side of things. So that's like the only other variant that would be in there. But generally overall, it will just be guest episodes and pack talk episodes. So from that, let's talk about the goals for the podcast. As of right now, I really just want it to grow and expand and reach as many people as possible. I want it to not just be a Michigan thing. I want it to be for people all over and of people of different levels. As I said before, middle schoolers, high schoolers, undergrad, master's, doctoral, anybody within those ranges. And even if you're not a music person, welcome. Look, we're glad you're here. It's a resource. It's a resource and it's a fun resource. We have a fun time on these podcasts. I've really enjoyed recording with all of these wonderful friends of mine, these students that are here, and not just students at Grand Valley. I've had students from the other side of Michigan, students from North Carolina. We've had people from all over, and the professors and the professionals and the educators and all these people from the music industry, they're from all over too. And it's really great to see everybody just come together in one spot, one resource. And it's just constant information being thrown at you about music and what goes on in a musician's life. And it's really cool and a great opportunity to just see what happens behind the scenes for musicians. So yeah, my goal is to just grow. That is my ultimate goal, is to just grow and reach as many students as possible and be the best I can be in terms of a resource and in terms of giving you guys what you want, giving you guys the people that you want to hear on the podcast, the questions that you have. I want them to be answered for you. So that's where your feedback really comes into play. If you have questions that you want answered, or you have a specific person you want on the podcast, let me know. Let me know, because there are people out there that I don't even know of. I only know so many people, and I want to adhere to you guys as much as possible. So if you have things in mind that you want on the podcast or that you want to talk about, or if you even want to be on the podcast, go to the Tutti Talks Instagram. It's TUTTI, Tutti Talks, TALKS, podcast. And it's on Instagram. And if you send me a DM, or if you go to the link tree in the bio, there will be two types of Google Forms. There's the student ones and the guest ones. If you're a student and you want to be on the podcast, fill out that student form. I would love to hear from you. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear your questions. You can put all of that in the Google form. If you're a guest, if you're a professional, educator, anybody like that in the music industry, I also want you on the podcast. I would love to have you on the podcast. Fill out that Google form. I read everything pretty quickly. So if I don't get back to you soon, it's because I just have things going on, but I guarantee you I have seen it. I've seen your responses. I've seen your questions. So just be patient with me. I do try to respond as quick as I can, but sometimes school and practicing get in the way of that. So, but anyways, I just want to learn as much as I can from these professionals and get as much musical advice as I can before I enter that career space and go into the next level of my life and what that holds for me. Whether that's auditioning for orchestras, going to my master's, opening a studio, things like that. I want to gain as much information as I can so that I can be fully prepared for what's to come. And I want that for you guys too. So it really is all about just getting as much information as I possibly can out of all of these guests and all of these students. So one more important concept I want to point out is that the guests that I have on this podcast, and even the students, not all of us are always going to agree on things regarding music. And I want to make it clear that if I don't agree with something, that doesn't mean I'm not going to put it out, because I don't want to just close that off to just, oh, well, if I don't agree with it, it's not going to go up there. You know, I want it to be a resource for everybody. And even though I might not agree with some things, that doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. I'm just putting it out there as a disclaimer. But that's pretty much all that I had for this episode. I really just wanted to provide an introduction about me, about this podcast, and what the future holds for it. And I'm really excited that it's finally got to the publishing point and that you guys are listening to this now. And it's been a journey, and it's been a really fun journey. And I've had such a great time meeting with all of these professionals and having great talks with them and getting to know them on a one-on-one level. So it's great. If you're enjoying this podcast, please go click that link tree in the Instagram bio, and all of our socials are right there, whether that's Spotify, YouTube, anything like that. We're on there, and you can find it all easily on the link tree on the Instagram page. So feel free to go check that out. I'm always looking for people to participate in the podcast, whether that's a guest, a student, or anybody that wants to help out with this equipment or editing or things like that. Please reach out to me. I'm very easy to get a hold of. Just DM me on either the Tutti Talks podcast Instagram or my own Instagram. Yeah, I'm really thrilled and really excited to get this going and to have more people on and to see what you guys think of the podcast. I would love your feedback. Please comment on the Instagram posts. If you are really enjoying the podcast and you want to make it expand like I do, please share it to your Instagram. Get the word out there that this podcast is happening. I want it to grow as much as possible. Not for any money aspects or anything like that. I genuinely just want the community to grow. And I want this to be a resource for as many students and as many musicians and people as possible, because I really think it's a great thing. So feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's episode. I'm really excited for you guys to listen in on the first one. It's going to be great. This whole first season is going to be a great one, and the coming seasons are also going to be awesome. So again, please share this podcast with as many people as you can, and let's keep this community growing. Thanks for tuning in to this first episode of Tutti Talks. Keep the music playing, keep the conversation going, and we'll see you in the next one.